All components of a Frigoboat refrigeration system are pre-charged with refrigerant, and the line sets are provided with couplings proprietary to Frigoboat, and these are holding the gas back, preventing it from escaping until you put the two halves together, the male half and the female. On each half there is a dust cap, and they must be left on until the very last minute. We don't want any dust or dirt getting into the system. So just make sure that you're well prepped and in a good position to be able to put the two halves together before removing these dust caps. Once that's done and they're put to one side, then we have the parts exposed, and you will see on the male half here we have an O-ring. That makes the final seal for the system, and once that is mated inside the female half there, then it's the refrigerant can't go anywhere, it's completely trapped. And tightening up the threads merely opens the valves inside to allow the refrigerant to pass from one side to the other. Inside these couplings and inside the female end is a pin. It's on a bit of an extended stalk there. The male half just has a flat spot. When you put the two together, try and get them as straight as possible. You can accidentally dislodge that pin and put it to one side. Then the coupling won't tighten up, so it's pretty obvious. But once you put it together and cover that O-ring, now the system is sealed. So don't use any liquid or tape on the threads or on the O-ring. That's not necessary. You don't need to use anything at all, just as it comes. As you start to tighten up, then if you hear any hiss or any evidence of you nicking the O-ring and causing it to leak, then back it off, the valves will close, and then you can replace that O-ring either with one that's on the plug that was in the female end. There's an O-ring there as a spare, or if you look on the compressor, there should be a set taped to the compressor, and these are installed as spares just in case one gets damaged as you put the couplings together. So carry on. It's if you can do them up by hand like this, that's great, but a lot of times it'll be just with wrenches. But make sure that you only use the large flats here on the female collar and this very thin one next to it. Never put wrenches on these brass pieces on the end or this flat spot here. Those are outer limits. Do not use anything on those. You only need wrenches on this very thin flat here and this one on the female collar. These are set in with Loctite, and if you ever do try and undo those, then you'll be releasing refrigerant and also possibly breaking off bits of Loctite in there and into the system, which is going to be very damaging to the system later on.